Hello everyone, it's Lisa Jane here on Saturday, the 20th of March, on this weekend of the March equinox. As most of you know, if you watch my videos, I'm from Cape Town, South Africa, and so we will be stepping into autumn here in the Southern Hemisphere, and I know you lovely people in the Northern Hemisphere will be stepping into spring, so hopefully warmer days for you and more sunshine, longer days for you, shorter days for us. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please browse my channel for videos because they really are relevant at any time you find them. It's not necessarily they're relevant only in a point in time. I am a healer and a spiritual guide, and I work from my practice in Cape Town under the slopes of the beautiful Table Mountain. So if you don't already, please subscribe, hit the notification button, and really have a look at the comments and my links below because I have a number of other social media accounts that you might wish to follow on Instagram or Facebook. And what I'd like to bring your attention to today, because actually later on I'm holding a Q&A and a meditation circle, is my community of the White Rose, which is held on the platform of Patreon. I'm just asking a nominal monthly subscription, and for that you will receive a new moon and a full moon meditation, and I will hold fairly regular Q&A sessions, which means that as part of my community you get to engage with me, you get to engage with the people who are part of the community, and I really hope to build an online circle there that is sacred, that has the intention to work with self, increase self-awareness, and actually just open up to the truest aspect of who we are. So all of those links are below, and please browse my channel for my other videos. However, let's get into the topic of today. I don't know how long this video is going to take, and I'm going to maybe share a bit slower than usual because I'd really like it to be a conversation. I feel strongly after meditating this morning that the information I share needs to be shared slowly and intentionally. And with all my work, while I'm talking to you, I'm in a form of meditation and I'm holding an energy of expression and healing that is passed across with my words and with the field that I hold while I'm looking through this little camera on my computer. Please know too that I don't edit or change any of my videos. Once they're out there because it's the energy essentially that counts. So where are we? Well, we will know that things are changing. We all know that actually, even in terms of a natural cycle, the equinox and the solstices really hold powerful energy. And for me as a healer, as an intuitive, and especially someone who works so closely with nature, living underneath Table Mountain, I work with her energy a lot, is that the natural cycles always hold energetic shifts and changes and often hold a lot of insights and wisdom for where we are. Now, those of you that follow astrology or have watched some of my previous videos, you will know also we are in a great period of change. And this hasn't really happened for the last 2,000 odd years. So it is a many thousand year cycle we're in. I have long felt that we are stepping into the evolution of our human species. And so in some of my work you will see that I actually hashtag the new human, because the new human is someone that we are getting to know, is more than just the mind and body. And we are also stepping into a space of the soul. Now the soul is my work. It's my energy of connection with my clients and with people I work with. And it is a field that requires healing, but also holds immense wisdom and insights and guidance as to how we can actually live a happier, more peaceful life. So my guidance this week was quite interesting in terms of the power and potential that this equinox and the coming weeks actually hold, because it's not over yet, right? It feels like we're entering a doorway And this portal or this passage will take us towards the June solstice and then towards the end of the year, December, and then into what feels like maybe next March, the real stepping in to a new cycle of human way of being and a more soulful way of living. So the imagery I got a couple of days ago when I was sitting in my meditation and just asking the guides for what it is or what it was that was held as a powerful seed of change in this equinox, I received the words the Red Sea, and I saw an image of the parting of the Red Sea. In addition to that, not only the parting of the Red Sea, but the shape of the Vesica Pisces. Now, on top of that, I and many others have been receiving many images of snake energy, Kundalini as the cosmic serpent or divine goddess, creator of life, and hugely symbolic representations of death, rebirth. Now, bearing in mind that a death rebirth happens within our body all the time, right? Is that our cells are dying and regenerating, our liver remakes itself in a very short period of time. So there is a constant field of change, evolution, death and dying and then rebirth in our physical body that for most of the time we are unaware of. What becomes quite static and stagnant is the mind. Now, I'm just talking about the low-level mind, which is really that mind that is distracting, the mind that is chattering, the mind that maybe talks to you in a whole lot of voices, not always positive, right? But the mind itself, and you could give it a bigger word of ego, but I don't really like that because I think it's been so misinterpreted. Let's just say that the mind field I'm talking about is one that becomes more stagnant and rigid when crystallized in thought forms of negative belief systems, negative behaviors, and negative habits. And again, please don't go beating yourself up because you have negative habits, right? We are all human. We all have these things that are part of who we are. And an acceptance of that will help us understand it more. But essentially, that stagnant aspect of the mind or the rigidity of repetitive thought patterns is actually now changing. And we're being asked to move up into a space that is our soul, our spirit. There is also strong energy around go with the flow, let go. I've spoken about that before in one of my videos. And the greatest concept that I am working with my community of the White Rose and in my own spiritual work is that of becoming the unknown. So instead of the Great Awakening, which this is being called that, and I've referred to it on a number of occasions, the real sense is that it's the great unknowing. It's unknowing and undoing and letting go of rigid thought form patterns that no longer serve you, that no longer serve the collective, and that need to be left behind. So let's go back to the image of the Red Sea parting. There is a division, there is a separation, there is a moving across a space, and something is left behind. If we look at the Jewish tradition of the Egyptians and the Israelites, it's merely symbolic of two ways of being. Perhaps you can call it the dark and the light. I prefer rather to look at an unconscious versus a conscious way of being. And we really are at that crossing point. And each one of us is going to be in different phases of this, right? Not everyone is going to be in the same place. But if I can say as a general statement, this death and rebirth cycle of our way of being, of our consciousness, is really, really pushing us strongly forward to let go of the past because it's actually dissolving as we move forward. And this March equinox, today and tomorrow, really offers a powerful seed point, right? Vesica Pisces, for something new to be birthed within you, within humanity, within the collective. And whilst I may have spoken about that before, and the timing kind of continues, it doesn't feel exact, right? Because different people will be on different timelines in their journey. And because in the quantum field, time doesn't exist, people can be walking different paths. And this equinox, Red Sea parting, leave behind the old, step into the new, walk into the promised land, could happen for someone in 2, 3, or 5 years' time because they're catching up, or some people are already even there. So don't think that this is the only opportunity for change, for awakening. It is one of the opportunity, and it'll get rippled through the dimensions for different people as and when they're ready. But the big ask in this Aquarian age, because we're also stepping into that, right, in a new zodiac cycle with Aries and that, and then truly into the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is air, and for me, that is spirit. And it, in terms of my own feeling, sense, knowing, it is the time for the soul. So it's a time for each one of us to really step into a greater aspect. It's not just about becoming psychic or developing your intuition or, kind of interpreting your dreams. All of those are part of it. But for me, the most fundamentally important aspect is to seek out your soul, is to seek out that highest wisdom, the higher mind, the aspect that knows we are all connected, that knows we are all fundamentally part of this natural cycle, and we all belong to Mother Earth. That part of us, that soul who recognizes that at some point we were all together, and at some point we came from a single point of light, of creation, however you want to see it. And that soul who understands that we are conscious beings, that we are energetic beings, and we are in the field of consciousness, and what happens to one affects the whole. That is the soul. So how do you step into that place? Because of course, again, the mind comes in, right? But we need to remember it's about unknowing. It's about not knowing. Right? And I mean, that's a theme I'm going to explore later on with my Patreon group, because it came to me while I was preparing for the material I want to provide them, is that the mind has no clue what is coming, and the mind cannot get you there. And I know that might seem quite scary, but it's true. But how about the higher mind? How about that aspect of wisdom and guidance that is coming from an awakened, open heart, communicating with the higher mind, and is shown to us through symbols, through sacred text perhaps, through words that drop into our head, through a sense of knowing? All of that is information, and we've just become so rigidly attuned to receiving information in one way. So I challenge you to go and find your soul. I challenge you to go and meet your soul. How do you do that? Yes, you've asked that before. Silence. Find time to be in solitude, in silence. Even if you can only manage 5 minutes and then run away scared. Because that's what a lot of people tell me, right? Oh no, if I'm in silent, then I have to hear what is being told me. And yes, of course you do. When you're in silence, you will start to hear that voice. And if there's anything I do know, there are intense whisperings coming through the silence at the moment. There is intense and intimately beautiful, sacred information coming through from nature at the moment. Everything you need is in the natural environment and is in the act of silence and solitude. It may get very busy in there when you first step in, and you may want lots of journals to document all that is rattling around in your head. But after a time, you will begin to enjoy the silence, and you will begin to just open up and connect with an aspect that you might not have connected with before. But then again, you might have a meditative practice. And if you do, I ask again, become the unknowing. Don't align the fact that you're becoming more spiritual to the fact that you might be able to be quiet for 20, 30, 40 minutes, or that you can do a particular yogic move. Rather challenge yourself to open up to a full expression and really become open to just, okay, well, let me become that which I don't know anything about. Teach me, soul. Teach me those things. Show me those things that are me beyond mind and body. Teach me those things that will allow me to open up my heart that much wider. Because I've said before, the heart energy field is your satellite dish. It's both your receiver and transmitter. So this equinox portal, this parting of the Red Sea, which is a channel that's been opened up for people to move through, to move out of unconscious thought patterns, to step away from the unconscious, heavier, lower vibrational thought conscious matrix that exists on the planet, and to move through and to begin to create a new world, a new energy matrix. And how does that new world get created? Through each and every one of you. And if you haven't watched my White Rose teachings that I created last year during lockdown, please go and have a look. I might rattle on there a bit, but essentially the message comes through because I was strongly nudged to start working with that information that is focused on making each person aware that they are the change. I don't care whether you think you're not good enough. You are. I see you. I see your light. I have issues around being good enough and self-doubt. We all do. So let's not connect into that in a way that brings us down, in a way that makes us believe we can't make a difference. Each one of you can, by a small random act of kindness, by a smile to someone who doesn't look as though they're having a good day, by honoring yourself in the commitment to 10, 15, 20 minutes of soulful, silent solitude. Honor yourself and give yourself the time of day to really connect with the intimacy, with the sacredness, with the spiritually divine human you are, because that's also important to remind you. I don't want you wafting up there with the angels and the guides and never wanting to come down. We need to bring that in. That's what ascension is. It's actually a descension. It's a descending of the soul and the wisdom into the physical body so we can actually act from that place. And again, if you Google my channel or you look through my channel, there's a video there talking about ascension is descension. Have a listen to that. So in this sacred time, and I know also the Red Sea, has various stories associated with it, and there's some special religious holidays coming up for people. I believe that what essentially was being given to us is a symbolic representation of the changing energetic cycles of which we are all a part. And that on the greater scheme of things, we are in a massive energetic cycle of change where the old thought patterns and constructs of society that create war, that create friction, that create fragmentation, the triangular victim, persecutor, rescuer, of which I've spoken before in terms of moving away from that matrix to a new one, are all collapsing. So the conflicting, the fragmented, the harshly judgmental interactive processes that have created consciousness matrices that are not good for any of us are collapsing. So whatever words you want to use, this new world, the stepping into the new, the moving from the dark to the light or through a channel, stepping into the promised land, is a way of being that is moving more to spirit, that is asking you to bring your soul in, that is asking you to honor self and do the work in an accepting, loving way. And so I hope in some way this March equinox channeling video has given you something to think about at the very least. You may not have agreed with everything I shared. You may not have resonated with it, but if you're still here, thank you for watching the whole video. And if you are, please consider becoming a member of my Patreon community if what I share really resonates with you. Please follow my Instagram, go onto my Facebook page, and of course engage with me, since I'm here to serve you, really. And my biggest aim is to create a community of the White Rose that is a spiritual community where there is respect, compassion, but where each person is individual in their own right, follows their own soul guidance, and is really just held by me in an energetically supportive environment with my guides. So I'm sending you all so much love. I'm looking forward to the session I'm going to have later with my lovelies in the Patreon community. And wherever you are, take time to honor self. Surrender into the you that is waiting to be born. Let go of the old. And just know that we are all connected. And what you do in terms of your own self-healing really counts. But if you like a one-on-one, make a booking below. Then you can have the whole of me for an hour, and we can chat and we can bring in the guidance from my spiritual team and certainly offer some healing. Take care of yourselves, lovely beings. Drop me comments, engage, and I send you so much love from my heart to yours, from my home to yours, and from the slopes of beautiful Table Mountain in Cape Town. Bye for now.